Hi, everyone in Zoom land and beyond. Let me turn on the mic. Okay, my name is Ann Gemmel. I'm the founder of FutureWorks Alliance PHL. We are here in the second of an ongoing series called Got Tech Training. Oh, thanks. Thank you, Emily. Yeah. Hybrid world. We're in the hybrid world. I'm very excited to get started. As I mentioned, FutureWorks Alliance Philadelphia exists to prepare Philadelphia for rapid technological change. And a big piece of that is preparing our talent pool for the jobs of the future. And if you've been reading the news lately, you know that tech is all about the jobs of the future. Every job is a technology job. It's a saying that my friend Tracy says often. And so for that reason, we decided to make it easier for the public to discern different tech training programs from one another. I realized that a lot of relationships and know a lot of leaders in the tech training space. So I'm thrilled to bring 3 more of them to you today. We're going to kick it off with Western Governors University and welcome Rebecca Watts to start us off with an overview of the opportunities at Western Governors University. Rebecca is the Vice President of the Northeast region for Western Governors, which is a nationally recognized organization with a great track record. She comes to us from Ohio, but please don't hold that against her. And she operates right now alumni, job placement. She has a ton of responsibility, but she's taking her time to be here with us today. So please welcome Rebecca, who will tell you about WGU.
Thanks very much for the opportunity. And while I hailed from Ohio, I'm actually a Northeast resident now, hailing from Jersey City. So it's great to be with you all today and to tell you a little bit about the EdTech preparation programs that we have at Western Governors University. Advance, please. Thanks very much. Just a little bit of an overview about Western Governors University and our model. We are a national university and we are online, but that's the least interesting thing about us. What we believe is the most innovative and the most student-centric thing about us is that we have a competency-based model, which means individually students demonstrate their competencies when they feel ready to demonstrate them. So they can accelerate at their own pace. They can do that with the support of a graduate prepared faculty person who is their mentor, that serves as a mentor. Then we have course instructors and evaluators that are in a separate role. We have 6-month terms, and you can start at the beginning of any month. So again, we can do that because of the competency-based approach where students accelerate at their own pace. And then finally, we have flat rate tuition that includes all of the learning materials. So from a traditional university perspective, you might think about that as books. Everything is embedded within our pricing model, and you can accelerate and take additional courses at no extra cost in each 6-month term. Our faculty are all graduate prepared in their discipline, in their content area. They all, in our College of Information Technology, I will speak now specifically to that college, all have industry expertise. They have worked in IT fields across industry sectors and some even in FBI settings. So great industry expertise. Of course, the FBI folks traditionally are coming to us with cybersecurity expertise. And we also provide our faculty special preparation for working one-on-one with adult learners. And so that is a special component of their preparation to really be supportive of student success at Western Governors University. And then finally, we have preparation in supporting students on the education to career pathway. When WGU was founded, it was the intent to prepare individuals for in-demand careers. And as Anne referenced, IT fields are exceptionally in demand right now. In our College of Information Technology, first I'm going to go over the list of bachelor's degrees that we have: computer science, network operations and security, IT, cybersecurity and information assurance, which I've referenced, data management, data analytics, health information management, which is an industry-specific, a sector-specific IT field, cloud computing, software development, IT management. The next slide, please. And then our master's degrees are cybersecurity and information assurance, data analytics, IT management, and an MBA in IT management. So that's a collaboration between our College of Business and our College of Information Technology. So importantly, these degrees are designed to meet the in-demand fields across industry sectors in technology fields. Embedded in our degree programs, and I'm specifically going to reference our bachelor's degree programs, industry credentials are included at no additional cost to the student. And if you think about what that means, that's a recognized credential across tech fields, across industry sectors. That really is that seal of excellence that the students are emerging with the kinds of skills, competencies, and expertise that they need to be successful from day one on the job. Our Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity has 14 industry certificates. Network Operations and Security has 11, and our Bachelor of Science in Information Technology has 10 certificates embedded at no additional cost to the student. Time commitment. Sometimes folks suffer the delusion that an online program is easier. In fact, it's probably more rigorous and takes more time commitment and discipline on the students, from the student's perspective, than a traditional time-locked cohort-based program. But again, I'll reference the faculty mentors that we have that are working with the students on a weekly basis. Students must be able to say, I will commit more than 15 hours of study a week. And over the period of time that's required. So as I said, we have 6-month terms. The duration of our program varies by students because each student is accelerating at her or his own pace. But I can tell you on average, our IT students complete their bachelor's degrees in 2.5 years. I want to reference something very important about that. I've talked about the student acceleration piece, but I also want to talk about the fact that we partner with community colleges to articulate credits that our students have earned at community colleges before enrolling at WGU, so that we're making sure that we're honoring the skills, knowledge, and expertise they have already gained through an accredited institution, and then being able to build on those toward completion of a bachelor's degree. We have a variety of methods for recruitment, but I want to highlight just a couple today. Employer partners. We work with employers of all sizes across all sectors to connect our students to opportunity, and to also listen to those employers to hear about what their needs are. And when we hear from them what their needs are, we adjust our programs. We constantly are upgrading and refining and modernizing our programs so that we're making sure that we're meeting current relevant needs in industry. As I referenced earlier, we partner with community colleges to support their graduates. And then we partner with organizations that are serving historically underrepresented communities and individuals. And then we also partner with media organizations to elevate the opportunity and to be able to tell the story of our student success and our alumni success. And you'll hear a little bit later, I'm very honored to have one of our noted alumni in the room with us today. Admission requirements. This is always a question. How do I get in? So computer science, I'm calling out a little bit separately because it has an additional requirement to our other programs. So to be enrolled, you have to have a high school diploma or equivalent. And then you have to be able to demonstrate mathematics skills through completion of a pre-calculus course or a calculus course from an accredited institution. For all our other programs, it's the high school requirement and then some additional requirements. But it's an option. There are 4 options, and you just need to demonstrate your preparedness for success by providing one of those options. And you can see the list there on the screen. Importantly, admission requirements are designed, as they are at all institutions, to be sure that the student that is enrolling is ready for success. That student success is at the heart of everything we do, and we want to make sure that we are bringing people in ready for success. And if there are some readiness skills and knowledge and expertise that they need prior to enrollment, we work with partners, and we also have opportunities at WGU through our WGU Academy to help folks get ready. Finally, our cost and financial aid. So our cost per 6-month term is approximately $3,600 for an undergraduate degree. That includes all your fees, and again, as I referenced earlier, all your learning resources, so all your books, everything you need to learn. And there is no limit of the number of courses that a student can complete in that term at no additional fee. And of course, as I referenced earlier, we are approved by the United States Department of Education. We are accredited, and our students are eligible for federal financial aid based on their individual eligibility. We provide institutionally funded scholarships at more than $20 million a year. And I'm highlighting just some of the specialty scholarships that we fund: cybersecurity, back to school. You can see the list in front of you. And this is just a sample of the array of individual scholarships and financial aid benefits that WGU funds over and above externally funded scholarships and financial aid. And finally, our alumni. What do they say about us? 65% of our students rate their faculty interactions. Remember, I talked about that unique faculty role of 7 on a 7-point scale. And that's 41 percentage points higher than other institutions across the country. 79% of our students, 79% of our students say they would choose WGU if they were to start over again. That is 40 points higher than the national average. And then finally, when we engage with alumni, every department in our College of Information Technology has an advisory council that includes alumni to help us continue to modernize and with their feedback, improve our programs continuously. And here's contact information. If you have interest in learning more about our programs through our College of Information Technology, and the enrollment counselors available at those phone numbers are specialized, and be sure to indicate that you are interested in College of Information Technology programs. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions.
Great. Thank you. Thanks so much. Bravo. Right? That was so great. We'll have to look at my phone. Are there questions from online, Emily? Okay, great. So thanks so much for that rich information and right on time, plenty of time for the rest of us. It's terrific. I had a question about your alumni, and I know that there's someone in the room. If they could just come talk about their experience with Western Governors University, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
so I'll pass the mic to Shane to talk about, oh, there you go, his experience. Come on up, Shane. You can sit here. Have a seat. I'll just keep an eye on the chat.
Thank you.
So Shane, yeah, we'd love to hear about what it was like, how long you took, how expensive it was. How did you hack the whole online thing? You know, it's hard to kind of keep yourself focused. So any tips for other people out there who are thinking about this?
Certainly. My experience with WGU was phenomenal. One thing that I will say is it was challenging for me as I was working full-time. I was actually working in the IT field. I actually led an IT department at the time. And it challenged me to go a step beyond in my knowledge and everything that I had learned up until that point. It did take me 4 years to complete the program, but it was a thorough program. And one thing that stood out most for me at WGU is how, as a leader in the IT experience, in the IT field, when hiring personnel, you often have a question: do you want someone with the degree, or do you want someone with certification? WGU gave me the best of both worlds. I walked away from the university with not only a degree, but I had a dozen certifications. I had knowledge, and I had proven that I had the knowledge that's necessary to be successful in the field. And that went a long way. The experience with my academic mentor was perfect. Whenever there are deadlines and things that you needed to do, they made sure I stayed on track. And they were tremendous in my experience at the university. I loved every moment of it.
That's great. Thank you so much for being here and answering that question. And I'll come back to the main virtual Zoomers. I have one other question about the social aspect of online learning. I've tried it myself. I didn't always get to the end of the course because I'm more, I guess, an extrovert. Like, learning for me is a social thing. I think out loud. And so I'm curious about how WGU, or you personally, sort of went and cultivated social relationships and contact with peers in an online setting.
So there are many opportunities to meet and interact with other students, other faculty members, whomever you choose to meet with. There are groups that we set up. Some are required for the coursework that we did. Also, you have opportunities to set up on your own the courses, or I'm sorry, relationships that you want to set with others. And there's always someone who's going through what you're going through at the moment. There's always someone who can say, oh, I've been through that and I remember when I was where you are now. And then there's always someone who's new to the program that's wondering, well, what will it be like? What can I expect? So you have a wide range of other students that you can talk to as often or as little as you like. Some people enjoy the conversation and interacting with others, and some people would prefer, give me my assignment, let me do my assignment, and let me go on my way. You can't always do that because there are some group projects that force you to interact with others, but there's a great blend, and I think it goes a long way with enabling students to have those relationships with others and helping them to complete their goals.
That's really great. It sounds like there's support up and down the ladder, people who've been through it. It sounds like, you know, you were able to find some empathy in the mix. And I'm just curious, like, I'm guilty of this. I lose touch with people. I don't have that many, I'm still not in contact with that many people in college, but do you still keep in touch with people that you went through this experience with?
I keep in touch with individuals. I can't say that I call them on a regular basis, but you do touch base from time to time. Obviously, these days, things like LinkedIn, you can stay connected and you see what people are doing. You get notifications when there are career changes, when there are, life changes, and then you reach out to congratulate them. You communicate that way.
Right, so it's just like a lot of our college relationships that we have.
Exactly.
Great, thanks. I have one last question about the financing. Either one of you can take it, but it seems super affordable. And I know that it's a little bit different than the payment per credit. Like I'm, managing some college tuition for my own kids and a sticker shock, but that was not a sticker shock. And so, but I think there's something about the terms, like you just go over that part again. The financing is such a barrier for so many people.
It is, and I am always hesitant to use the term affordable because it would be unwise for me to say what is affordable for anyone's family. But we know that comparatively our costs are much lower than other comparable programs across the country. So it's $3,600 per 6-month term. We don't have an academic calendar like other institutions do. You can start at the first of any month. So when you enroll, that begins your 6-month term. And that $3,600 is covering as many courses as you can and want to complete in that period of time. Then you start your next 6-month term. So it is a 6-month term. We don't call it a semester because it's not truly a semester.
Right.
But
like a clock.
It is a clock, and you are working with your mentor to make sure that you're leveraging your time, your energy, and your commitment to get through as many courses as you can in that period of time. Because in the end, the more you accelerate, the more money you save.
Right, exactly. And speaking of acceleration, it's hard for a lot of people to do this style, to really remain disciplined and focused. I mean, I see it with my own kids. It was so hard during a pandemic with the coursework. So what is your, completion rate? Like how many people are there? Like you're a star. Let's just say you're the star of renewal. You're outstanding. Clearly, you now work at a major institution in the city. How many people start and then make it to the end? What percentage is that?
Our completion rates are exceptionally high, so much higher than the national average, right around 70%. But the question you may be asking though is on-time completion, and as the United States Department of Ed measures that, it is for a 4-year degree, it's 6 years, for a 2-year degree, it's 3 years. So we are just about 50% on that, but always continuously trying to improve that. And as you stated, it really is very incumbent on the individual to be committed but we are hand in hand with them, supporting them every step of the way.
Yeah, and I just love that you clearly have a culture of continuous improvement. But you're surveying your students after every course, after every semester, alumni, network, everything. You actually really care about making it better and better and better. So kudos. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, question, great.
Hi, this question is actually for Shane, I think. I'm curious with the dynamic of being an online university, what is it like building a network? Sometimes for people who are native to Philadelphia, then there's a big appeal to go to an institution that has an alumni network with a large base in the greater Philadelphia area. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how that relates with
So there are networks in this area, there are networks in every city, I would imagine, every area. I am aware and a part of the local Philadelphia network of alumni that have gone through, the Western Governors University degree program. It's wonderful. There are opportunities. You have to want to be a part of them. Not everybody does, but they're there. They're easily accessible, and you can join as many as you like. I'm not quite sure that answered your question, but it's perfect. And I do want to make one comment. You asked a question earlier about the percentages of completion. Everyone I know is completed, so I'm going to say it's 100%.
Great. We'll close on anecdotal evidence, because that's what humanity is about, right? That's the story. You got the story there, everyone. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, we're trying to do a lot in an hour, so I'm not going to hesitate to introduce our next speaker, Katie Zacho from, am I saying your name correctly? The last name, I can pronounce Katie, but Psycho. Thank you. I should have asked that maybe before. Katie Psycho is here. She actually has come to Tech from the liberal arts background at Duquesne University, but is born here in Philadelphia, boomeranged back via Philadelphia, and is now the campus director of Tech Elevator. I'm going to turn it over to you. Katie, take it away.
Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Psycho. I'm the campus director here for Tech Elevator Philadelphia. So nice to meet you. Thanks for everyone for coming out today. So when Anne reached out to me about this, I was super excited to speak about Tech Elevator. I really truly believe in our mission, and I get very excited to talk about it. So yeah, we can advance to the next slide. You're going to see a video to start off here of one of our alumni speaking about her experience on our campus.
executive access to the product.
Okay,
Into the product.
we'll have to come back to that then. We'll come back to that. In true Tech Elevator fashion, so it's a little technical difficulty. You can go to the next slide. Thank you.
One second. I'll skip the other video as well, so sorry.
All right, so let's take a look. So Tech Elevator is Coding Bootcamp, 14 weeks in duration. And we were founded in 2015 in Cleveland, Ohio. To date, we've graduated 2,000 students who successfully come through our Coding Bootcamp and successfully landed jobs. So let's take a look at the demand and the supply. So if you advance to the next slide, you're going to see what the tech talent demand looks like here across the country. Looking out to the year 2028, I'm sure all of you are aware, these jobs are climbing at 5 times the national average. Every company is viewing themselves as a technology company. There are not enough people with this skill set. There's a huge gap in terms of people who are qualified for these types of positions. And there's obviously a lot of companies who are saying we need more people with software development skill sets. And that's pulled directly from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. You can go to the next slide. You're going to see a snapshot. So here are a few companies that have hired from Tech Elevator across all of our markets. So we do have campuses, and you'll see in a few slides our national footprint. So started in Cleveland, Ohio, slowly worked our way down through Columbus and Cincinnati, launched our Pittsburgh campus in 2018, Philadelphia, and then we also have our national live remote program. So these companies have hired from Tech Elevator, and they're telling us that they need more people with this skill set. If you advance to the next slide, you'll see Coding Bootcamp market growth. So for those of you who are not familiar with Coding Bootcamps, they're popping up here and there. There's quite a few in Philadelphia, and they're an alternative way for people to learn skills that are in demand and jumpstart a career in tech. You'll see here, year 2021, close to 30,000 students will graduate from coding boot camps. They are just becoming another option. You know, some of our students who come through our program, roughly about 66% of them have a 4-year degree. But they've used that, they've maybe taught, they maybe worked in business or education, and they're using that to kind of transfer their skills, learn these in-demand skills, and jumpstart a career in tech. If you advance to the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about what Tech Elevator is and why we're here. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that we were founded in 2015, as I mentioned, in Cleveland, Ohio, with the mission to elevate people, companies, and communities. And we have a strategic team who looks at the areas that we're going to launch a physical campus in to see how many opportunities are actually out there. So how many companies are hiring for software developers? And then how many people are graduating with a 4-year computer science degree? As I mentioned earlier, there's a huge gap. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting a 4-year degree. I have one, many of our instructors have them. But for some students, that isn't possible. The time, the 4-year commitment, the 2-year commitment, the financial commitment to go into a 4-year program is sometimes not possible. So if you advance to the next slide, you'll see our national footprint. So we have 5 physical campuses launched in 2015 in Cleveland, 2016 in Columbus, 2017 in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia to follow. So our Philadelphia campus launched right before COVID. We have a beautiful campus right in the Dwayne Morris Plaza in Center City. And then you'll see we also have 4 remote communities as well. So those are centralized in Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, and Detroit. And they all run up through our national live remote program that runs completely virtual. The 5 physical campuses are currently virtual at this point. We have plans to be back in person for our fall class. 2 pieces to note here, 2,000 grads, so 2,000 alumni who successfully come through the program and graduated and found a job. And then you'll also see, which I think is really interesting, we track a lot of metrics at Tech Elevator, and on average, our students are seeing on average an increase of $1.3 million over their lifetime earnings. So they're comparing that to what they were doing beforehand. If they were a coffee barista, a teacher, retail, restaurant workers in business, they're seeing that average increase of 1.3 million. So it truly is life-changing for the people who come through Tech Elevator. Here are the nuts and bolts of what we offer. Okay, so here is the 14 weeks and the full stack coding bootcamp. So as I mentioned earlier, our program is demand-driven. If you take a look at Google Jobs or you do a quick search on LinkedIn, you're going to see that a lot of companies are hiring for software developers. So we really want to teach people in-demand skills. It is practitioner-led. So all of our instructors come from the industry. They're former software developers themselves. They're not just instructors, they're really mentors, helping our students transition from point A to point B. It is a full-time commitment, which is tough for a lot of our students. We really do not recommend that students work while going through the program. It is 14 weeks in duration. Typically, we are in person. Right now, we are remote. With plans to be back in person for our fall class. The typical progression is learn, apply, learn, apply. So standard day is 9 to 4:30, 9 to 5. The students do have access to our physical space 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they're able to collaborate in there. But I mentioned the learn, apply because they're not only just learning, they're actually creating applications. So the last 2 weeks of the program are focused fully on a 2-week web application they create. I've seen some pretty amazing things come out of the program. We've seen a Walk Philadelphia application going to all the historical points throughout Philly, and they can use that to showcase in their interviews. We teach 2 languages, so we are Java and .NET full stack bootcamp, and we really believe in teaching foundational programming, so the students can use that to kind of springboard and learn other technologies and languages from there. When they graduate, they're considered code-ready full stack developers, which basically means that you can complete a project from start to finish. So you can take a look at what's on the back end, all the things we don't see, in a typical setting when we're looking at a website. You can also take a look and create the front end and what makes everything look pretty when you actually look at a website. And then the student does get a laptop and books. We have an ebook that they'll get. They do get a laptop to use for the full duration of the program. And someone has actually calculated that they will consume 12,000 plus cups of coffee throughout the cohort. The last thing I'll mention, and I'll talk here in a few minutes, is our pathway program. Our pathway program is nationally recognized. It's aimed at helping the student land a job. So our pathway director will work one-on-one with the student to help them hone their behavioral skills, eventually helping them land a job and introducing them to employers. So how we teach. Typical day, the students are in class from 9 to 12. They'll get a quiz in the morning to check for their understanding. What did everyone think of yesterday's material? How did you feel about it? Did you think the pace was too fast, too slow? Really that little temp check to kind of understand what was learned. And if half the class missed something, we are not moving on until those students get that material. From there, they'll introduce a new concept through live coding demos, and then they'll start working on their homework and their exercises. We do a lot of pair programming. At Tech Elevator, we really think that's a great skill set for students to learn, because when they get out to the industry, they're most likely going to be doing pair programming. And what we teach, I am obviously not technical. I have an English degree, so I will do my best here with what we teach. Usually this is one of my instructors who is typically speaking about this, but we teach 2 languages, Java and .NET, and we're teaching those because they are in demand in the market that we're in. Our pathway program, nationally recognized, is really aimed, like I mentioned, at helping the student land that job. So they'll have 30 plus pathway program sessions to help the student craft their elevator pitch. If they're a former chef, what should they be saying in an interview? If they worked in retail or the restaurant industry, what should they be saying to really help them land that job? We'll go through 4 rounds of mock interviews, and then we host a huge culminating event called matchmaking, where we introduce the students to employers that are hiring in the area. And then we do help them for up to 6 months. So they will get help for up to 6 months after graduation. We really want to help them ensure that they're going to land a job, sending their resume out, doing mock interviews, and that ongoing career coaching. And a typical day at Tech Elevator, as I mentioned, 9 to 4:30, is a pretty jam-packed day. I do want to get to the last few slides, so we'll go to our elevated outcomes. So Tech Elevator is really, really big on being transparent. We want our students to see that if they're going to be coming through this program, they have an X percentage chance at graduating and an X percentage chance at getting a job. So 2 times a year, we voluntarily report all of our outcomes to SIR. I would encourage anyone who is interested to take a look at SIR.org. It's the Council on Integrity and Results Reporting. And SIR holds boot camps accountable for their outcomes. So 2 times a year, they'll do a full audit. From our most recent reporting period, we have a 95% graduation rate and a 93% job placement rate within 6 months of graduation, with an average starting salary of $85,000 coming out of the program. Are you a fit? First step is to take our aptitude test. It's on our website. Test how to think like a developer. 14 questions long. It's going to test critical thinking, pattern recognition, logic-based questions. Following that, if you get a 7, you're invited to interview with us, and you'll take another aptitude test that is 35 questions long. And tuition and cost of living support. So I'm sure you're all wondering, how much does this cost? $15,950 is our full tuition. We do partner with a few different lenders. You'll see Sally Mae and Ascent are 2 lenders that we partner with. You can also receive a living expense through that if you are obviously quitting your job to go through the program. And then additionally, I'll just add in here that we also have a Represent Tech Scholarship aimed at helping students coming from underrepresented backgrounds in technology pave their way through the program. And then last slide, if you're interested, we have 3 boot camps a year, spring, summer, and fall. And I did outline the admissions process there if anyone is interested, but techelevator.com/get-started will take you there. Thank you.
Yeah, this is so great. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to say that website for accountability again, for the people that check out all the boot camps. It's going to take us a minute to get to every boot camp that serves Philadelphia. So in the meantime, people can check out
techelevator.com and then /get-started.
Right, and then the website that where you
Yes.
upload your accountability data, that was.
Yep, so that is the Council on Integrity and Results Reporting, and it's CIRR.org. You can check out data from various boot camps who choose to report their outcomes. It's reported 2 times a year.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Emily, do we have questions from Zoom land? Do we have okay, Zoomers, and do we have questions from the room? Any questions from the room for Katie? Okay, so I have a question. I was intimidated by your tests in the beginning. I was like, wow, this is amazing. It sounds like the tech version of West Point, you know, like once you're in, everyone's crossing the finish line, hell or high water, right? Is that kind of the vibe once you're in?
I would say that our admissions process is very vetted.
Okay,
So it's tried and true. If we don't think someone is going to be able to find a job, we will not accept them. That's our primary motive. But the students that we are accepting, it's one thing that we really dig into the interview, their grit factor, because we want to see that they can do this. We want to see what challenges they've overcome in their life to see if they can definitely complete it. But yes, I would say it is a boot camp. We're not going to make you do push-ups or pull-ups, but you will definitely exercise your grit.
right. And you know, there might be a link between the 24-hour labs and the coffee. Just maybe a guess there.
Maybe a little.
I also wanted to ask you about the rates, just to set expectations. You know, if people go in and they take that initial aptitude for the questions, what's the chances or likelihood that they're gonna get over that first wall?
So you can actually take that first assessment as many times as you want.
Oh.
So you can take it as many times as you want. We will see that you've taken it, you to get through every time, you can see that.
But
But
do you hold that against people if they try 3 times and make it over the wall?
we tell people, keep trying, you know,
Okay.
keep trying to see if this is something you really like. And then if they do get the 7, they're invited to apply, you know, because there is another assessment they can only take once.
Okay,
That is the 35 questions.
so 35 questions, but if they practice on the first one, they're probably gonna be more prepared for the second one.
There is a practice test as well, so there's practice test before the actual one that you can prep on.
Okay, so that's a really good, more information, but what percentage of the population are we talking about? Because this is hard stuff. I mean, it's not easy, it may not be for everyone.
Yeah, so I will say that the number of people that take it is kind of, I would say, you know, not maybe an accurate number, because a lot of people just take it, they want to see what it's like.
Right.
So I don't know if I maybe really speak to that too well, but
Okay.
I would say that if the student takes it and they're really serious, they'll go and apply.
Yeah.
And then they'll continue on the process, but occasionally we'll have people just take it, you know, they want to see what it's like to see something they want to do.
That's great.
Yeah.
For the folks who may not know about Sally Mae, I was really glad to see you included financing options in your slides. Can you just explain the advantages of, you know, accessing a program like that?
Yeah.
For folks at home.
Yep, so we have a few different lenders that we work with, so Sally Mae and Skills Fund, Sally Mae and Ascent are 2 that we work with. Some students choose to go that route depending on credit, you know, that is obviously a factor. Some students choose to take our income share agreement. We just launched our income share agreement in April 2021. And it's a small portion that you put down, $2,000. And then from there, once you get your job, paying at least $40,000, we'll pay back 10% of your monthly income. So there's a lot of options, plus the scholarship as well.
Great, and then the income on the other end of it too.
Yes.
A question from the room.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about the demographics of your students' age, those that have left full-time employment, those who are still trying to work part-time? Can you talk a little bit about that?
And then diversity to gender, all that, gender and race.
Yeah, that's a great
And
question.
then we'll have to get ready for our 3rd one, I'm sorry. Put the questions in the chat, and if I'll send them to Katie and follow up for anybody who still has questions.
Yeah. That's a great question. So average age is 31. So it is second career changers. A lot of our students have families, they have mortgages, they have kids. So they're very serious about this commitment. You know, they're not, it's not just like a walk in the park, it's boot camp. And then about 66% will have a 4-year degree before this. We see students with masters and PhDs come through our program who are really looking to change and pivot. I would say from a diversity standpoint, we obviously launched our Represent Tech Scholarship in the fall of 2020. We committed $1 million to sponsoring underrepresented individuals through the boot camp. And we actually recently just had a partner who's hired a lot of our students, Vanguard, who will also be sponsoring the scholarship. for our students as well. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, lots of good things happening.
Yeah, and Vanguard's a great employer, as far as I know. I've never worked there, but the word on the street here in the region is everyone's nodding.
Yeah.
Okay, you must have friends at Vanguard. So that's great. And $1 million goes a long way, but it's only 15 or 16 grand, 15.7, was it?
15,950.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much.
And-
Bravo. Thank you for being here. Awesome. Okay, next up, we have Luke Belcher from the School District of Philadelphia.
He is going to talk about the urban technology project. I love my friends at the school district. They have some of the hardest jobs in the city before we go into a pandemic. They had hard jobs, but then their jobs got really, really hard when they had to get. So I'm just very grateful that they're here today because there's a lot going on in the city in our K-12 education. So we're switching gears away from post-secondary now and into the K-12 space to hear more about a really little known diamond in the rough of Philadelphia K-12 tech landscape, the Urban Technology Project. So Luke and Jesse, come on up and let's hear about what's going on with the school district with technology apprenticeships. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. My name is Luke. I'm Director of Educational Technology for the School District of Philadelphia. And I'm joined with by Jesse Cunningham, who is a project manager for the Urban Technology Project. If you can go to the next slide. So the Urban Technology Project is an IT apprenticeship program, multiple programs within this organization. And it is managed by the School District of Philadelphia in collaboration with Launch of Philadelphia. And it's an initiative between the two of us where we empower the youth in Philadelphia, and not just youth. It can also be in our programs, any Philadelphian who wants to enter IT workforce later in life with the skills and expertise that are required to enter the tech field. Slide, please. And I'm going to turn it over to Jesse, who's going to talk a little bit about apprenticeship and what the model looks like in the Urban Technology Project.
Okay, so what is apprenticeship? You might have heard this term in reference to the building trades, but how does that apply to tech? Well, actually, excited to tell you that apprenticeship is becoming more prevalent in businesses, 9-to-5 jobs, such as technology positions. So apprenticeship is an industry-driven, high-quality career pathway where employers can develop and prepare future workforce, and individuals can obtain paid work experience, classroom instruction, and a portable national recognized credential. So what are the components of apprenticeship? How is it different from an internship? The four major components of an apprenticeship is related technical instruction. So that's anywhere from your soft skills on how to be professional in the workplace to the actual technical skills that you need, such as computer user support, specialist, IT support. On-the-job learning, that's the paid on-the-job learning experience. So as they're learning these things in the classroom, they're applying it in the real world on the job. Rewards for skill gains. So every time they show that they're confident in these skills, they get a raise. For our program, they get $1,000 wage increase for every certification that they earn. And lastly, credentials. So with apprenticeship, there's the Journey Worker Certificate, which is issued by the Department of Labor and recognizes the individual's competency in the chosen occupation. But along the way, especially with our program, they're earning IT certifications. So a lot of CompTIA certifications, the IT fundamentals, the A+, Net+, Security+.
Thank you. So we have two main career pathways in the Urban Technology Project. There are actually 3 programs, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the next slide. But the first career pathway is the computer support specialist, and this is where we prepare our apprentices for careers in IT support, help desk, break fix, those kinds of skills. Now, these folks are placed directly in the School District of Philadelphia in our schools, and they provide these services. And I know we talked a little bit about the pandemic and the amount of work it must be, but the pandemic has been a positive thing for urban technology project in a way that so much technology has exploded in our schools that they needed more of this help, and they were able to take on more apprentices than we ever had before. And so these young folks, or these folks that want to become a computer support specialist, enter the program. They primarily support the School District of Philadelphia. We do have other non-school district partners who hire computer support specialists as well, and during it, they get CompTIA certifications. Currently, we work with the School District of Philadelphia, Drexel, and Visual Sound, who hire computer support specialists. The other pathway that we have, which is relatively new to the urban technology program project that we're rolling out this year, is software developer. This is an apprenticeship for folks to become a junior front-end developer or back-end developer. You can look at the slide to see. I'm not technical myself, but there's project management basics. They learn about deployment. They get their training at CCP, and they do. And we're going to be working with a company in the greater Philadelphia area who will pair up these apprentices with software developers as they learn and receive that training and certifications along the way. Next slide. So those two programs are partially fed by a pre-apprenticeship that we have. And so they're really our pathways. And so we work to recruit young students who are graduates of the School District of Philadelphia in their final year who are interested in tech to sign up for our AmeriCorps Digital Service Fellow Pre-Apprenticeship. That is an AmeriCorps program where 25 high school graduates or folks age 17 to 24 with a GED, they get a yearly stipend of $20,500, and they work directly in a classroom with a teacher in the School District of Philadelphia teaching digital literacy to students for 1 to 2 years. And during that time, they also receive training. They receive CompTIA IT fundamental certification. They get a computer, so usually around the springtime is when we recruit. It's towards the end of the school year. We work with our schools and our counselors to get the young people involved. So this is a pre-apprenticeship that gives them some experience in tech. Then once they leave that AmeriCorps Digital Service Fellow pre-apprenticeship program, they can choose to go into either the computer support specialist apprenticeship or the software developer apprenticeship after that. The computer support specialists comes with a yearly salary beginning at $23,500, but like Jesse said, as they earn certifications, their salary increases. The requirements for that is at least age 18 and over, 1 year professional experience, which for many of our young people is our pre-apprenticeship. But for people who are interested in being apprenticed that may not have that 1 year of experience or an IT certification, if they work with the Urban Technology Project, we will refer them to other community organizations that may be able to give them access to certification training for free or low cost, so that then the following year they would be eligible for the program. The software developer apprenticeship, also 18 and over, requires that 1 year of coding experience. That salary begins at $25,000 and then increases as you earn certifications. With all of this, we usually recruit in the spring. However, there are needs that will come throughout the year. And so we were constantly recruiting, talking about it, and looking at applications as they come in.
Yeah, I just wanted to note that we are still accepting applications for our cohort starting in August 2021. So all 3 programs still have a few spots that we're looking to fill. So if you are interested or know anybody.
Absolutely. As we said, the demand has increased, and so the spots have increased as well. Next slide, please. And I talked a little bit about what Jesse's going to give a few more piece of information about the specifics, the benefits, what you get when you are a member of the program.
So as an AmeriCorps Digital Service Fellow pre-apprentice, They are working in the schools Monday through Friday. They're serving alongside of a digital literacy teacher. So they're getting that direct mentorship from an already established professional. And they're helping inspire students to get excited about STEM as well. So while they're building themselves up, they're also passing it on. So it's a really great model. Some of the benefits that our digital service fellows get is the very nice stipend that Luke mentioned. I'm not sure if you're familiar with AmeriCorps, but that is really generous for AmeriCorps. A SEPTA key, monthly SEPTA key, so they can get to our office and to their school site, healthcare benefits, an education award of $6,345, a very specific number. But that can also be used at trade schools. It can be used to pay back loans. So if you've already gone to an higher ed, personally, I am an alumni of the program, and that's what I did with my education award, is I paid back some loans. Free training and certification exams, educational loan forbearance for the entire time they're enrolled as a pre-apprentice, and support services. So we actually have a staff member on the UTP team that is dedicated to providing support with those things outside of work that might prevent someone from being as successful as they can. So housing issues or helping with food stamps, things like that.
All right, we have about 2 minutes, and these two, I talked a little bit about both of these. So I'm gonna just go over the benefits a little bit of the apprenticeship. So that was a pre-apprenticeship. The apprenticeship salary we talked about, monthly key, healthcare, a lot of that is the same. You get a device to use. You get all your training is free, your certification exam fees are included. You also get soft skills and leadership training as well throughout this program. Next slide. Software developer, that's the same, plus the addition of college credit. When you're in the software developer apprenticeship, college credit is a portion of this because your training comes through CCP. And the next slide. Go ahead.
I did want to note for the software developer, they're also getting college credit for their on-the-job learning. So for the work that they're doing with our employer partner, they're also getting college credit for that. And as well as once you join our program, we evaluate your prior knowledge for college credit as well. So if you're coming to us with an IT certification, CCP will give you college credit for that.
Excellent, thank you for adding that. All right, so if you're interested or you know someone who's interested for this, they can apply at utp-philly.org. Also, the phone number is on the screen and an email, and you can follow us on Twitter at PhillyUTP. Thank you.
Thanks, awesome. I'm gonna have to steal one of your microphones, thanks. Oh, now I don't have to steal. You
Thank
don't
you.
have to steal a microphone.
So we have a question.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so, have a seat, have a seat. I'll be the, like, Phil Donahue, I'll have to date myself for a second there. Yeah, and the 40 and older class, everyone else is like, who is she talking about? Why don't more people know about this? What is the main obstacle? How can we help more people learn about this?
I'm not sure why more people. I mean, you know, it's a program in the school district of Philadelphia. People might not often think about us
Right,
when they think of post-high school workforce development,
right.
but it's a great program. I hope everyone shares or something.
Well, is it kind of new?
No, you can hear.
How old is it? How old has it been going on? How many people have gone through this?
UTP has been in existence since 2002. We're gonna have our 20th anniversary next year.
Wow.
And we have about at least 50 people per year that go through the program. We have 89% of our alumni are still employed by tech.
That's amazing. So there's 1,000 people out there who have been through this and benefited from this. And I was quickly doing the math of the stipends, because that's my favorite thing about apprenticeship, is that you're actually paid to learn as you acquire skills that will lead to higher salary. You're actually kind of encouraged along the way. And the baseline stipend was $394 a week.
Yes.
So this is 18 to 24-year-olds who are learning a trade that is going to lead to a good, a viable career, as we all agree in this room. And they're pocketing $394 plus a septic aid,
Yes.
plus some healthcare, and on the job, like workplace experience in school district buildings, right?
Yeah, for many people, one of the barriers to getting the certifications is balancing having to work. And so the nice thing about apprenticeship is that you get paid a competitive salary. We wanted to make sure that, you know, we weren't competing with a McDonald's, that we could give them enough that would be, okay, I know you could be out here earning, but here's a program you can earn and learn and get those certifications. And so that was an important part, to make sure that cost was never a barrier and that your own life expenses isn't a barrier. So
Right.
being able to focus and really be in it every day.
Kudos. I think we have a question from online and a question in the room. Let's take the online and we'll come back to the room. We'll have time for you.
Two online.
Oh, back and forth. Go back and forth, yeah.
So the first one might be a question that says, how many slots per year for pre-apprenticeship and how many for apprenticeships?
So it varies for our apprenticeship programs based on our employer partners and how many they're willing to host. As Luke mentioned, we had a lot this year. But every year it's 24 slots for our pre-apprentices, and it's anywhere upwards of 45 for our computer support specialists, and then our software developer is piloting this year. So we're starting with 4, but we're going to increase that in coming years.
Thank you. Okay, great. And question in the room.
What languages are you teaching software development?
That's on one of the slides exactly, but we are trying to come to you and. No, that's for the computer
A
support
plus,
specialists.
like A plus, but could you back up to the slide with the, it's a really good
It's on the
question.
career pathways slide. I just don't want to get it wrong.
Python and Java. I think
One
that's right.
more back.
One more back. Okay, there we go.
No, one more back.
Yeah.
No,
It's one that shows both pathways. Keep going up.
there.
Oh, it was too
So
small.
it's Java, Python, C, C++, C#, Go, Rust, JavaScript, and SQL. Good.
Oh, do you have a follow-up? Go ahead.
I know you teach something from project management. Have you thought about getting them the credentials? You know, when you go through a project management certification, you get 35 credits. That automatically qualifies you to be able to apply and get a PSM. So
So we've actually talked internally about project management as its own occupation. The reason that we're giving the software developers that sort of baseline knowledge, not a whole, we're not getting into the nitty gritty of project management, just so that they can be the best software developer on the team, so they're aware of the software development life cycle.
I was moving more towards from that PSM certification, because that teaches emotional intelligence within learning as well. I'm a scrum master myself, so.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's definitely something that we can consider and work with.
Yeah, great. Miss, another question in the room. We'll get to the question in the chat in a second.
Yes, the other question is, what is the Instagram page?
The Instagram page is actually the same handle as our Twitter, so it's Billy UTP.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Billy UTP, gotta go where people are, get the infographics out there so people can share. It's perfect. And then a question from the chat.
Yeah, asking about, what does the post-apprenticeship support and assistance with job placement look like?
So we really focus on preparing them before they even leave their apprenticeship for what that sort of job placement is going to look like, what it's going to look like to look for a job, how they should negotiate salary, what their resume should look like. So we're really focusing on that with them their entire time in the program, but really heavily right before they're ready to graduate. And we have several partners who give us job postings because they know the quality of our apprentices. And we pass on that information, and we find that most of our apprentices have an employment lined up before they even finish the program.
Yeah, and I mean, everything from support with resume building to even gathering and open jobs and like an internal job board that people can look at and see. To even if you need more professional attire for your interview, getting that as well. Really trying to support the process of getting that job. And I know one of the goals of UTP is to really focus hard on how we can increase our alumni outreach and support in the 6 months after, which exists currently, but there need to be structures placed around it, and providing that ongoing support once they do this.
And another, just to add, a lot of our alumni actually end up going to work for the school district after they leave their apprenticeship. So they build those relationships and then they get a job offer after.
I have just one more closing question, or if we're good on questions in the room. So you mentioned the software developer pilot program. Let's pretend that there's a very wealthy angel investor listening, because you never know who's hanging around venture cafe. So what would it, is it possible to just accept a check from an angel investor into this program and just scale it up? I mean, what would it, is that generally the cost, the apprenticeship, stipend and the other wraparound? I mean, could you just blow this up if you've done a big check?
Sure, it's money is always nice, and so we'll always accept somebody who wants to be a generous angel donor. But there also needs to be employers, and there are, and we need to continue our outreach, who understand that model, and they're willing to take somebody who is not the best and work with them side by side as they get the training and develop that person in the apprenticeship style. And so as we get more employers, it grows and increases. We've seen that in our computer support specialist apprenticeship. And we are very excited to hopefully see that in a software developer. But yes, funding often goes a long way. It can change the cost of the employer. It covers trainings. It can increase the amount of trainings and certifications that the folks in the program can get. Because a lot of what we offer our young people are based on the cost built into what the employer pays them in salary, but also in grants and other funding that we get. So the more money we have, the more we can offer to the young people and the people in general in the program.
That's great. That's truly a future work response, because in my work and the things that I've studied, I've learned that it's 100% about collaboration. If we do not effectively collaborate, we won't be resilient in this age of rising artificial intelligence. And employers should know, if any employers are in the room, that when tech employees mentor apprenticeships, they're more likely to stay in that firm and watch that person grow. So it actually is a win for the employer as well, because it helps them retain, very sought after talent in their tech shop, in their IT shops. So that's just, I really wish you the best. Thank you so much for being here. Round of applause for the lecture. Thank you so much, everyone who tuned in. We're up on time, and we have to let all of our Venture Cafe folks get to their other sessions. You should definitely try to come down in person sometime and come to our session at 6. We are having an update about the FutureWorks Alliance work, and a guest author, Laura Ian, is going to talk about this book, 2030, how the future is going to be completely different in 2030, is his keynote. And then also tune in to the next Got Tech training series. We already have one on the books, and more tech trainers, leaders in the region on September 29th, I want to say, 23rd, but we'll have it up on our website in late September. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, everyone. Take care.